If you've spent any time in the world of food allergies and sensitivities and intolerances, you will know there's considerable confusion behind the terminology. Even doctors and scientists don't always agree on the definitions. And it all seemed a mess until I found out about the fascinating history behind how we got here. Definitions of what allergies actually are can get very confusing, and unfortunately, it can get even more confusing the more you know. Most of the time when doctors talk about allergies, they mean the immediate type with recognizable symptoms such as hives that are IgE mediated and show up on skin and blood tests. On the other hand, people may loosely refer to any type of bad reaction as allergies. And when you try to distinguish between allergies and sensitivities and intolerances, you move into increasingly murky waters, especially in the world of food reactions. So you got on one end the classic IgE-mediated allergy that everyone will agree is an allergy. And on the other end, you got intolerances, which strictly speaking do not involve the immune system. It's usually an issue of metabolism, like your body not having enough of certain enzymes to break down or absorb food properly. Classic examples are lactose intolerance and fructose intolerance. Sensitivities usually refer broadly to all of them, from allergies and intolerances to everything in between. And then again, some call anything that are not classic allergies as intolerances. Confused yet? I was too, until I read the history of how we got in this mess from this paper. And as usual, I'll leave references in the descriptions below for anyone who'd like to learn more. The term allergy was first proposed by Austrian pediatrician Clemens von Pirquet in 1906. It was coined from Greek words meaning other or different, and energy or action meaning a change or difference in reactivity. From his clinical observations, he understood there was a change in the response when something was encountered a second time. This included both protective immunity and harmful hypersensitivity, seen as two ends of the same process, which kind of makes sense because there can be an overlap between the two. So, acquiring immunity through vaccines? Allergy. Breaking out in hives? Also allergy. So at this time, allergy and immune reactions were used interchangeably. But very soon, from the 1910s, allergy started to be used only for the dark side of the immune system. And by the 1930s, it became established medical terminology and soon escaped into everyday language, where people started using it to describe any apparent bad reaction to anything, and even took on life as a metaphor for rejection or strong dislike in songs and novels. In 1963, British immunologists Philip Gell and Robin Coombs tried to bring order to this chaos and classified immune reactions into 4 types, type 1, 2, 3, and 4, still used today with minor changes. It is known as types of hypersensitivity now, which is ironic because they themselves rejected that term and tried to restore allergy to its original sense. And it was because just a few short years later, the antibody behind type 1 reactions was discovered independently by 2 separate teams, Hans Bennick and Gunnar Johansson in Sweden, and Teruko and Kimishige Ishizaka in the US, who were a married couple. The 2 groups briefly collaborated to confirm their discovery, and it was officially named IgE in 1968. This, of course, was an incredible discovery for the world of allergies, but it attracted so much attention to type 1 reactions that a wide group of physicians started using allergy only for these type 1 or IgE-mediated reactions. In 2001, the European Academy of Allergy and Clinical Immunology attempted to correct course and include antibody-mediated and cell-mediated reactions, so types 2, 3, and 4, back under the term allergy. But today, still, the confusion continues, and what counts as allergy depends on who you ask. For instance, for respiratory diseases, major guidelines use allergy for IgE-mediated rhinitis or asthma. In dermatology, it depends on the specific condition. For hives, allergy always implies it's IgE-mediated, but for contact dermatitis, allergy includes both delayed and cell-mediated types. You might be familiar with patch testing done for these, usually keeping it on the skin for 48 hours, because it is a delayed type. For latex reactions, allergy is always IgE mediated, but for drug reactions, it can be any type. And of course, for food, it's a confusing mix because most of the time it's referring only to IgE allergies, except when specified as non-IgE mediated. So the criteria vary according to the context. So what's the answer? I say let's go back to the original spirit, updated by what we know now. And this isn't just my opinion. The most recent European Academy position paper is proposing exactly this, expanding allergy to include all the immune-mediated reactions. Because here is what we know now. There isn't just one type of allergic reaction. There are at least 9 different mechanisms. Under the umbrella of allergy, there are immune system-driven reactions, of which there are antibody-mediated reactions and cell-mediated reactions, each subdivided into 3 different types depending on the types of antibodies or immune cells involved. There are also 2 types of tissue-driven mechanisms and direct response to chemicals. Most of what used to be called hypersensitivity reactions will come under the umbrella of allergy. Yes, all the hidden atypical forms of allergy I'm talking about on this channel. My understanding is that this change is coming about since we now know a whole lot more of the actual mechanisms behind all these different reactions. I imagine it went something like, IgE allergies are the only true allergies, to, oh, there are non-IgE mediated allergies, but wait, sometimes they occur together. And then the fact there are several different mechanisms behind it, I think it got to the point that trying to draw some arbitrary line between allergy and hypersensitivity no longer made much sense. Some scientists want to go even further, including any objectively reproducible overreaction to a normal dose, whether the immune system is involved or not, into the definition of allergy. Turns out the general public may have been ahead of the curve, pretty much understanding it like the new definition proposed, despite all the hand-wringing by experts that they're calling things not actually allergies as allergies. And why does this matter? Because millions of people suffer from real, debilitating reactions that get dismissed because they don't fit the narrow definition of allergy. Expanding our understanding, going back to that original broader meaning, gives weight to these very real problems. It means they'll be taken more seriously, as they should, researched more thoroughly, and treated more effectively. The word allergy has been on quite the journey, from meaning all immune reactions to only the bad ones, to only one type of bad one, and now hopefully back to encompassing the full spectrum of immune-mediated overreactions. Have you experienced reactions that don't quite fit the typical allergy mold? Share your story in the comments. And if this helped clear up some of the confusion for you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for watching, and keep on healing.